Hello everyone, my name is Forever2 and welcome back to Reverse 1999 for part 3 of Foile et Relacion, or known as the main story, chapter 10. Now, there is something as well. I took a break from playing the game for a bit and a while to work on my Honkai Star Rail game events as well as other games as well. And I hope you enjoyed Etheria Restart as well as my other videos as well. And I want to continue on with the main story because the event stories awards, we only have about 9 days left of it. And new things came out as well. As you can see to my left, there is another event story as well called The Answering Scene, The Butterfly, and The Literary Critic. Now that only appears when a new character banner is already out. And you already know who it is. The Shattered Product, the Two-Faced Man himself, Aleph. Now, he is an intelligence character, a 6-star. Everyone's been anticipating this character as well, wanting to know what his abilities are. I could test him out in the survey in his main story, in his character story. But unfortunately for me, I am not going to show you that as well, because I don't got enough to pull for the man. So what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to continue on with the mask in the mirror. That's where we stopped at. We finally found out who Aleph is behind the physician's facade. And I also noticed that there are some extra things that I missed out on for extra lore, I believe. I could do them, but it's going to take some time for me to narrate them or just show you guys. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to be doing the story, and that's all. That's all I'm going to do. So, yeah, we meet Aleph at last, and we're going to find some answers. So, and it is some sort of weird freaking experiment that uses literature as a reshaping. I don't know what it is. Basically, literature reshapes a prison, and the man is trying to research a way to use this prison as a arc to protect the people that's within it by making them insane. And more than being artists and literatures and poets. So, I've been scrambling to try to make sense of what's going on. But I'd rather just go with us through the story and try to make sense from there. So, alright. I wasted 2 minutes on that. 3 minutes.
Where did the physician go? Wait. Sir? Are you?
Dude. That's his default skin here, guys. He is an inmate. He is... Yeah, he's got the book on him as well. Yeah. But what's with the face mask, though? It's pretty nice. Kinda reminds me of mankind. No one notices when the unfamiliar prisoner appears. He seems calm and almost ordinary, like an unchanging mirror that has stood here all along, in this room, in this labyrinth, passed unseen by everyone. I can't tell if she's scared or nervous. The answer she now sees plainly makes her step back in a panic. But in the end, she says the name out loud. Its sound is heavy, cold, and leaves her at a loss.
Aleph.
Yep.
It's you. My pen pal.
Not what you expected, huh?
You are, in fact, Nkomana.
He is both prisoner and a warden. Okay.
All those letters. All the ideas we shared. They weren't just my imagination or some prank. Vertin, Soneto, it's all just as I told you. They weren't meaningless. They're all real.
Yet why does she feel no joy? Yeah.
So, sir, are you Aleph? The ruler of this prison? Are you the one controlling Panopticon with the die? The one hiding Miss Dores's whereabouts?
What curious inquiries. Quite different from the last 2,666 questions I've received. My guests, you may call me Aleph, or by any other name, be it a symbol of God's oneness, or a farcical epithet. I am merely one of the many prisoners who voluntarily reside here. A single letter in the alphabet of the Panopticon.
A letter? The way you speak is quite different from Dr. Merlin. Still, I wonder what your relationship is with him.
Under the dim lighting, the man looks drained of all energy.
But allow me to make a guess. You're Dr. Merlin, aren't you?
I'm afraid that's not entirely accurate. But you may think of it that way. Merlin is a figment born of my mind, an incomplete reenactment. He is me, yes, but not entirely. He, or rather they, failed to find their answers.
So, is Dr. Merlin not the only personality that he made from him?
They fought against their predestined fates, only to be inevitably crushed under their weight. I simply stood by and watched it all unfold. That was the extent of our relationship.
They?
You've already met Merlin and the Idealist. Even witnessed their demise.
Wait, okay, so I figured that was the thing. So he not only created the physician, but he made the Idealist. Really?
Shackled by the delusions of verses, the Idealist lost his own name. Merlin, too, imprisoned himself within the system of the Panopticon. I'm sure their desperate pursuits caused you some trouble. Please forgive them. After all, your fleeting encounters led to the demise of them both.
I think I understand now. The Idealist and the Physician are both parts of you. Or, to put it another way, they're your alter egos.
It's also strange that all three of them had the same voice. The same, I don't know, the same way they talk. Calm. Just neutral. I don't know how you describe it. It seems the jailer's diagnosis, that the whole prison is mad, had been shown to be more accurate than anyone could have imagined.
The physician mentioned Manus Vindictae. What's the relationship between this prison and the Manus?
Visitors from the Foundation. We all witnessed those eras perish. In 1977, not long before the fourth storm, I arrived in Ushuaia. Shortly after, some members of the National Foucault Studies Association reached out to me. But it wasn't just them. An arcanist organization called Manus Vindictae also approached me. Each of them wanted answers. They named me their advisor.
You acted as an advisor to the Manus?
The two parties presented me with a concept and a parable, respectively.
A concept and a parable?
The Foucault Association sought to explore the feasibility of the Panopticon concept here, while Manus Vindictae showed me a parable of the past and future. Day and night, I wandered through endless texts, endless realities, as I searched for answers. And thus, Merlin was born. He was both an experiment and a price I paid. A new concept, a new direction. Pursuing such things always leaves me confined by the limitations of human knowledge. Merlin spent his entire life exploring Foucault's theories in pursuit of that singular yet infinite answer.
What about the Manus, Mr. Aleph? You didn't explain why you helped them.
Explain why? Because they asked me to. Just as you have. I simply worked to answer their questions.
So you're saying that, to you, we are no different from Manus Vindictae, and if we ask, you'll answer us, without holding anything back?
Is that not precisely what is happening this very moment?
The man's truthful. I'll give you that. He's honest. Aleph picks up the fallen die. It flickers with a familiar, comforting glow.
This is what the Manus gave Merlin. A magical die named the Tear of Kamala.
There it is. Another glitch in the text here. So was Kamala built from the die? Huh. Why is it... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Could this be another artifact that was stolen from that place in that event story?
It was once a gemstone that belonged to a god. At the beginning of the century, explorers plucked it from an ancient gate they discovered in Antarctica. To the explorers' amazement, the gemstone could turn human desires into reality. So they cut it into a die, a symbol of fate, and used it to build a sanatorium, which was later transformed into the Panopticon you are standing in right now.
So I figured right, they used the die to create Kamala Prison. Okay. I get it now. Since it was called the Tears of Kamala, it was named Kamala Prison. Okay. His words are direct, yet they still leave the outsiders perplexed.
Then, Aleph, you really are the mastermind behind the Panopticon?
The silent girl grips her notebook. Her knuckles turn white from the pressure. The draft of an unpublished novel, with words that only she knows. The countless hours she spent at her desk, the self-reflections, the meticulous questioning, revisions, and scrutiny of every word. That book holds the life of its writer.
You said Merlin used the Panopticon to seek his answer. What does that have to do with my novel? I don't get it, Aleph. Why would you use my novel to manipulate this place? Roberta, Garcia, Octavia, Pablo, the jailer, everyone. Not one of them deserved to be trapped in a deadly loop in which everyone's fate is already predestined. They're just like the ghosts in Amalfitano, inescapably trapped within the ruins. Tell me, what is it you really want?
Hearing this, the lonely prisoner fidgets with the die, and the connection is still being wonky, looking puzzled.
It's not about what I want. It's about what you want.
What?
The third line of your first letter. You said you wanted to give the rise and fall of sanity an ending.
The gears in my brain is ticking here. Okay, now where is this now? Okay. This looks like a fight to me.
Los registros históricos del Dado de Babilonia aún se pueden encontrar en la biblioteca de la Universidad Santa Teresa. No. Una apertura como esta haría la historia demasiado ambigua. En 1975, en el pueblo de Amalfitano, Sonora, México, ocurrió algo terrible y escalofriante en la cabaña con el techo azul. Todo comenzó con las costumbres peculiares de los Espera. ¿Cómo supe todo esto? Necesito agregar un ro para el narrador. El cuentacuentos.
I'm gonna leave this alone. Yeah, this is the revisions.
Un poeta surrealista de México me contó esta historia. Una anciana entró en el bar al que solía ir en el pueblo. Al mismo tiempo,
El empleado del banco también entró al bar, trayendo la noticia de que una corporación multinacional iba a construir una fábrica de jabón de galletas en Amalfitano.
espera, empleado del banco. No sabía que había bancos en Amalfitano.
What's with this? Sounds like Aleph is giving her ideas. How is he giving her some ideas?
Pero sí, tiene sentido. Los bancos comerciales son, sin duda, un sello del capitalismo. Gracias, amigo por correspondencia.
That's interesting.
Antes de convertirse en empleado del banco, era un defensor de las antiguas costumbres del pueblo. Era un pescador de dunas.
Después de aceptar el destino otorgado por el dado de Babilonia,
How?
eligió dejar todo atrás. El triste y aterrador pueblo y los ciclos ocultos dentro de la infinita aleatoriedad.
Oh, qué irónico.
¿Eh?
Pero también es realista. Ahora solo necesitamos un personaje contrastante. Un creyente en el destino. Una anciana tejedora se sentó en su antiguo taller, girando incansablemente su rueca, un regalo precioso, otorgado por el dado de Babilonia.
La tejedora ciega relató suavemente todo lo que había vivido.
¡Qué idea brillante, Aleph! Una tejedora ciega no podría haber presenciado el asesinato. ¡Fantástico! En este caso, agregaré a un conductor de burros que es asesinado en este capítulo. Con cada una de tus sugerencias, la historia da un paso adelante. Gracias, Aleph. Pero todavía no veo ninguna señal del final. Es como si no importara cuántos personajes nuevos agreguemos. Todavía falta algo en el pueblo desértico. Le falta una figura clave. Aleph, ¿qué debo hacer? ¿Cómo le doy un final a esta historia?
The idea.
Tú misma me preguntaste, ¿cómo le doy un final a esta historia? Me describiste cómo tus palabras se habían transformado en un rompecabezas desmesurado infinito, un lenguaje irreconocible, una colección de información ambigua y una parábola que había perdido todo su significado. La ausencia de un final aún te roe, atrapándote para siempre en ese abrasador pueblo desértico. Todo lo que estoy haciendo es intentar encontrarlo para ti.
¿Estás diciendo que has estado manipulando los acontecimientos en el Panóptico desde que intercambiamos cartas por primera vez septiembre pasado?
Sounds like it. She struggles, vainly hoping for him to deny it.
Sí, cada vez que revisabas la novela, se hacían ajustes correspondientes en el panóptico.
Jeez.
Reflejar fielmente las complejidades de cada detalle era clave para asegurar que la historia avanzara sin problemas.
Talk about literal visual realism.
Estos ajustes los manejaba principalmente Merlin, a veces el idealista, y antes de ellos, Zahir y Paracelso.
¿Cada vez?
6 versiones de la historia del Amalfitano ya se han desarrollado en el Panóptico.
How many times? I know 6 times, apparently. So every time she did a revision of her novel, he does this experiment in the prison. Man.
Eso significa la rana aplastada en el barro, la vaca muriendo de vieja, el lirón cayendo al mar, el fantasma asesinado en el duelo y los cambios repentinos al dado de Babilonia. Todas las revisiones que sugeriste, todas las muertes, el caos y la locura, ¿realmente sucedieron aquí mismo?
Talk about putting revisions theory in practice. Man. The ever-knowing prisoner falls into a long, dark silence. He will not answer a question when the one asking already knows the answer.
Incluso la eternidad tiene sus límites, Recoletta. In the 6th revision, we added the blind weaver,
Wait.
an extraordinary figure.
Wait. The blind weaver. Extraordinary figure. That's Dr. Dordas, isn't it? Because there's only one blind person who weaves words into stories. Like an author for Utu? It clicked.
just like the paracausality researcher who carries a suitcase that you introduced in your 7th letter.
The paracausality researcher carrying a suitcase?
It's us, isn't it? It's Furton.
Miss Recoletta, is this character really based on the Timekeeper?
Yep.
What? Of course not. The paracausality researcher is an entirely different character.
Don't you understand? We're only one die roll away from the ending.
Aleph lifts the core of the infinite labyrinth. The tear of Kamala swirls slowly in his hand.
I don't. What on earth are you trying to do?
Oh. The filament lamps of the operating room dim in time with his motions. The walls ripple and couldn't read fast enough for this, and we teleported. Transfer to countless mirrors. Okay, that's within the mirrors. An endless stream of information appears. A seemingly possessed telephone babbles. An old radio sings. A flickering slide projector whirls and cracks. A muted film projector spins. A time table opens, and dictionaries of countless languages float past. And all of them in a nearly flooded cell. All a room without an exit. An eternal predicament. A prisoner's dwelling.
Recoletta, it is the cycle of fate that has brought you to the Panopticon of Komala in Ushuaia. Now, return to the rise and fall of sanity. Return, and become a character once more. You've been searching for its ending. But how could you possibly find it when you're no longer inside the story? I believe that this time, you will witness the grand finale with your own 2 eyes. No more sadness. No more loneliness. The answer you've long sought lies in the inevitable final roll of the die.
So, the jailer is the bank clerk, and Erd is the blind weaver.
I figured that.
But what about Roberta, Garcia, and Octavia? They weren't even assigned roles. They were just playthings, helpless in the face of fate. What right do you or I have to decide what happens to them? To dictate their gains and losses?
But they couldn't possibly understand such a thing, could they? To you, it's just a story. But to them, it is the manifestation of bittersweet destiny.
Do you think hiding behind the guise of fiction absolves you from the reality that you've turned the Panopticon into a living hell? Yes. You're the only one who truly understands the rise and fall of sanity. Goodness knows how many manuscripts I sent out that never received a reply. I was so grateful to you. For your replies, for understanding my novel. Those things were more precious to me than any sunrise over the Andes. Had I known that your feedback was created in such a way, and at such a cost, I would have preferred not to receive it at all. Don't you get it? Even if they don't understand my novel, the people I meet are still my friends. Whether we took a long journey together, or we simply chatted for a few hours, we formed an inseparable, miraculous bond. They're a part of me. How could you treat them like fictional characters? It's disrespectful to my work, and to life itself.
The writer's resistance is so sharp that it cuts through Aleph's carefully constructed labyrinth easily.
But you raised the question yourself. Why do you resist receiving its answer?
He lowers his head, and for the first time, cracks appear on that indestructible mask. Did you see his real face? Ooh!
They're always like this, aren't they? They throw a question at you, only to abandon it along with the fading of the era.
Yeah. Dude, look at this. There's hands. I think that one's the physician, and that's Idealist here. They're gonna try to rip his mask off and split, too.
This storm will spare no one. You've known it all along, Aleph. Only the timeless Panopticon can maintain control. The all-seeing tower. The perfect governing system. What a hopeless fool you are, Merlin. Haven't you heard what they say? There is no need to build a labyrinth when the whole world already is one. Your meaningless questions will be swept away by the tides of time, only to resurface on the shores of our minds once more. We've seen it happen, over and over again. Surely you've realized by now that the only true meaning can be found in literature.
This is absolute insanity.
For over a century, literature has remained the singular, ultimate answer. This lonely cowboy is simply feeling lost at the moment. Spare us your rambles, my dear. You're wasting our time.
Enough.
The dye that reflects the heart can no longer bear its weight, as it glows from within, burning fissures. On the surrounding mirrors, countless reflections of Aleph appear, each wearing a different face. They crowd into the room as a flood of ghosts.
Aleph seems to be in a terrible state.
Yeah.
We have to be careful. Something isn't right about that dye.
Yeah, I could tell from its goop. Whoa!
Which of these darlings shall we attend to first?
Hold on, I like the music here.
Go ahead. Keep the story going. Carry it through until we finally feel the sweet gratification of the ending.
Your endeavors are doomed to fail. There's only madness in literature and art, not transcendentality.
Oh, dude. If that's the figure of multiple personality, then that should be awesome. Aleph, the ghost of transcendentality. God damn, that. Ugh. So he's resistance to sleep, whatever that is, silence, whatever. Damn. That's a cool design, I can tell you that, and the music's fitting too. Alright,
So perfectly understood.
let's let the audio play out.
En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más.
Flash in the water.
Nuestro aliado es la verdad.
A truly villainous moment.
Allow me.
Hey, don't interrupt me.
Dude.
Loading,
I like that
loading.
effect. That reminds me of
En
Arcane
la
when Jinx
acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo
sings.
todo una vez más.
Target confirmed.
Feel like dark and great.
Faraday's miracle.
Flee, mortals!
What? Whoa! Now there's no face. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. I'm at to pause that before my girls destroy them. Alright. Let me take a look at you again to see what you're called. Is it still the same thing? Yeah, it's still the same thing, but he's got a different appearance, like no face at all.
Target loading.
But look at this fire too.
Idealismo. Vuelos de fantasía. Nuestro adversario es el tiempo.
Aim and shoot. Barrage. Aim and shoot.
Okay. Yeah, that effect right there. Whoa. Okay. Looks cool though. I don't think I'll be able to win this. That's not a final boss, I can tell you that for sure. Nice.
These explorations, these fractures, they're all failures, aren't they? In this infinite expanse, I feel nothing but infinite sorrow.
Finally, it's just you and me, Master.
Alright. I think the chaotic battle comes to an abrupt halt. Like I mentioned, the fantasy is going to be breaking down, I think.
Wait! Mr. Aleph? Are you human?
You seriously going to ask that? Sonetto steps back, lowering her glass fetter. She is shocked to realize that her opponent has no arcane skills at all. From the beginning to end, all he had was the die.
Please hand over the die peacefully.
Mr. Aleph, please stop resisting. It's futile.
Futile. Yes, it's all futile. The cage of rules, the ideals of literature, both are futile. Mere illusions conjured along the path to transcendentality.
I almost had the word transcendental. Not again. I'm gonna stop saying that. Transcendentality. I have to say things a little slower, but I have to give props for the VA of Aleph here. He has done a very excellent job on voicing Aleph here. Yes.
They all fear that they're nothing more than phantoms in someone else's dream. That reality will devour everything, including their very existence. That's why they drift further away from transcendentality. They couldn't break free from that false dream. None of them could.
Aleph stumbles as he looks up at the storyteller.
Both the physician and the idealist walked toward their own destruction, just as I expected. But your novel still has hope, Recoletta. Its ending hasn't been written yet. We cannot deny that it may be the answer to achieving transcendentality.
You're not going to stop, are you? Not until you get your answer. Sonetto, we have no choice but to seize the die from him by force.
Sonetto's arcane energy gathers at the tip of her glass feather. At this moment, the silent storyteller takes a step forward.
Enough. I said enough.
She shakes as she reviews the notebook that has never left her side. Okay, just got back and ate my dinner. I should be good for a few minutes, so looks like we're going to do Boundary of Fiction. So I guess Recoletta is just laying down somewhere, probably her home or hotel room, maybe. Probably just another inside of her struggle, I guess. Yeah, Expo Guadalajara. 1990 Guadalajara International Book Fair. People move between bookshelves and corridors, engaged in heated conversations. The air is filled with the mingling of multiple languages.
I'm afraid we can't publish your novel in its current state, Recoletta. We look forward to seeing more refined work from you in the future. Ah, Senor Cruz! What a pleasure to see you here. I'm an editor from the Naranja Dulce publishing house. Could you spare a moment to discuss the copyright for the Bluebird? We're huge fans of your children's literature.
The editor leaves, hurrying after another writer, leaving Recoletta standing alone in place, the 17th publisher to reject her today.
Hey, relax, Recoletta. Look at all the books around you. This place is heaven. You can't get down on yourself. Not here. There's so many writers and publishers here. It's only natural you'd be turned down 17 times. This is just the beginning.
The young writer, attempting to forget her 17th rejection, flips through the event guide in her hands.
Now, which section should I visit next? Oh, this brochure might help.
She turns to the last page of the thick handbook, where all the invited authors and their contract details are listed.
Estupendo. An exchange of ideas between writers. Nothing could be more incredible than that. I recall James Joyce was inspired by a letter he received from Henrik Ibsen. So, maybe what I need is to find someone to share my manuscript with. But who? Tadeo Emasums. Aleph. Averroes.
She came across Aleph. What's with the turn? A knock at the door interrupts her daydream.
Oh, it's you, senor. Don't worry. I promise I'll catch up on the rent next month.
Hey.
Although I must say,
Ow!
This apartment's hardly worth the price. The cracks on the walls must date back to the last century.
Make all the excuses you want, Ingrid. If you don't pay the rent soon, you'll either end up in that crumbling colonial building on the corner or on the street. selling oranges at the San Telmo market. By the way, Julian told me you lost your job at the textile factory. You under some kinda can't work in one place for more than 3 months, curse or something, señorita.
Oh, you don't even want to know about the terrible things that happened in that factory. All I did was lend the oppressed workers a hand.
Bah, you're just like those college kids, full of hot air. Anyway, I am not here about the rent. Didn't you tell me to watch out for your letters a while back? When you just returned from abroad? Well, here it is. A letter for you.
The girl freezes him for a moment, then snatches the letter and slams the door shut, almost buzzing with excitement as she unfolds it.
Dios mío! Someone actually wrote back to me! This is incredible! Oh, thank you so much for bringing it to me, senor.
She slits open the long traveling letter.
Dear Miss Recoletta, it's from, let's see, Aleph.
Yeah, that's her first letter. Kind of bittersweet, huh?
Hey, I've been watching you. You're not local, are you? What are you writing? Oh, hola. You're right. I just arrived in Buenos Aires 3 days ago. My trip's been a lot like a Copes Tango performance. Full of twists and turns, but nothing much worth telling, really. I'm actually writing a reply to my pen pal. Long story short, I sent him a manuscript of my novel, and to my surprise, he actually wrote back. Amazing, isn't it? In our recent letters, we've been discussing how my novel lacks a key character to drive the story toward a decisive ending. So we've been debating whether to introduce a new ghost to act as a turning point for the story. Oh, so then you're a writer? Hey, Pancho, come over here. I found an actual real-life writer.
What's the big deal? I wrote plenty of poems in middle school.
So this is where she met her friends, huh?
Oh, so you're a poet. I have a feeling we're about to embark on an incredible adventure together. Are you interested in joining the visceral realism movement? Vis what? I've never heard of it, but it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Fabuloso. We have no time to waste. Once I finish this letter, you two must join me on a journey to Ushuaia.
Ushuaia? The end of the world? Why the heck would we go to that icebox?
Oh, don't be such a downer, Pancho. Just think of the fun we'll have, the breathtaking scenery we'll see, and the incredible stories we'll hear.
Yeah, until you realize you're working at a barista, and a cafe too, in Ushuaia. Oh, I felt so sorry for those two.
Fine, Maria. I'll deal with the cold if you really want to go so badly.
By the way, could you tell us about your novel? Of course. I'll tell you all about it on the way. Now where to begin? Alright, let's start with the cottage with the blue roof in Amalfitano.
Good water.
It's been 6 months since we first exchanged letters. Since then, I've been traveling. First from Chile to Mexico, then from Mexico to Argentina. And I've never stopped writing. I'm not really sure what the purpose of my novel is. I just keep writing and writing. I can't stop. What power does literature hold? What responsibilities? Perhaps only by continuing to write will I understand one day.
Recoletta flips through her notebook, every turn of the page containing a different colored letter. After their long journey, these pages of letters form a faded riddle, their handwriting long since blurred.
Aleph, you're right. I do want an ending to my novel, but not like this.
You really have no idea, do you, Recoletta?
Her only reader realizes she has still not grasped what is happening, forcing him to reveal a truth he has long concealed.
The rise and fall of sanity is your story.
What do you mean?
You are a ghost, wandering this forsaken land, still striving to create a miracle. You are a wandering poet, born in Amalfitano, the foolishly brave protagonist of the story, and the embodiment of the author herself.
Whoa, okay. a twist there.
A reflection, yes. The author, no. You are simply a figment of her imagination, a manifestation of her dream to wander. Have you not realized it? The literary pursuits and romantic adventures you described, they are merely faded memories from 1975. The poets who joined the visceral realism movement with you left Latin America long ago.
Faded memories.
As for the novel, it's yours now. A story you're writing. A story about yourself. Your departure has turned Amalfitano into a ghost town. The characters have lost their connection to you. They're gradually fading away. If the novel is destroyed, you too will cease to exist.
So are you saying that Recoletta is a story? Or at least a manifestation of a story? She is the novel, and the novel is her. What the hell?
Wait. This is... Miss Recoletta? Is what he said true?
I know you never lie, pen pal. In your first letter, you told me that a character's role in fate must be determined from the outset and consistently adhered to throughout the story. Reading the perspective and insights of a walking encyclopedia, having such a person be willing to share their thoughts at all was an exhilarating experience. I had never imagined my novel could develop in this way. Words could hardly describe how I felt in that moment. No one but you has ever understood the story of that town, let alone offered any revisions. Following your advice, I added the bank clerk, the dune piscator, the blind weaver, and the murdered donkey driver. Amalfitano was no longer an empty town with a single blue-roofed cottage. The new ghostly residents had begun to fill the skies over it. The story was finally reaching completion. I could feel that the ending was within reach. I became increasingly eager to meet my pen pal. I couldn't get the thought out of my mind. I wasn't sure what I would say to this Aleph. A simple thank you, perhaps, or maybe a discussion about the future of Amalfitano with its sole reader. Or maybe I'm no different from everyone else, led up the garden path by fate. But even if I am a ghost, as you say, an incarnation of someone else, a fictional being, so what? My resolve will not waver, even if my existence is bound to fade away, because this isn't what literature is supposed to be. You once told me there isn't an ounce of reality in fiction, only voids and glorified lies. Let me tell you this. Whether real or fictional, corporeal or intangible, I have accepted my existence. Now, let's put a stop to this, Aleph.
Okay, a rematch?
The inmates aren't characters in my novel.
You gonna tear it?
They're people trapped in a prison, just as you are. By simulating my story here, you have made me into some kind of god, a guilty, false creator, a dictator of fate. I never wanted any of this.
Oh. Damn. Wait. Eh? Amalfitano? Is that where we are now?
Come together to conquer this
Ghosts.
great weight.
Not these guys again. I had my...
Lo veo. La frecuencia perfecta. La admirable aleatoriedad del destino.
I had my fair share of these stupid fantas in chapter freaking 9. Was it 9? No, wait. Not 9. No, it ain't. Wait. Dang it, I don't know.
Creo que lo he encontrado. La fuente del dado de Babilonia.
Las deudas de los muertos. Esas facturas. Todas han sido hechas cenizas. ¡Ya no estoy atrapado!
Desde desde el día en que perdí la vista. Nunca imaginé que la rueda giratoria volviera a girar.
Alright. Oh, let's go.
Understood. En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más. Keep up the pace. Please, mortal. Nuestro aliado es la verdad. Please, allow me. En todo.
Low charging.
Cosmología, filosofía clásica, el fundamento del mundo.
Barrage. Although we come from different lands, we share the...
Shattered words and ghostly illusions war forth, breaking free from the story structure and the gaps between its lines filled with regret and obsession. And speaking of regret, while the fight was going on, I was looking back at my channel videos and I realized something. I did something wrong in my currently uploaded video for part 2. I actually typed in chapter 10 instead of chapter 9. And, yeah, that caused a lot of misunderstandings on that part, and I may have mistakenly said chapter 10 instead of chapter 9, because I am very exhausted and I really did not learn my lesson. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. Misinterpreting what chapter I'm already on. Gosh, I didn't even check. Oh well. Torn letters and book pages flutter in the air, like snow in a crystal globe on a winter night. Everything is quiet.
Huh? Miss Recoletta has vanished. Did she really cease to exist like Aleph said?
Recoletta.
Okay, Ghosts of the Past. Now, looks like Recoletta's back, but there's gonna be more Ghosts of the Past here and there. On an unknown night, the wind carries the cold desolation of the desert. In the cottage with the blue roof, a girl dreams of a circular prison. Then she wakes.
Qué sueño más extraño.
Oh, I love this. I like this type of style here. Just sketches. Black and white sketches. To animate that, that's pretty creative. Kind of reminds me of this one part of a game I played with a friend. Was it Split Fiction? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
El sabor de la realidad, tan amargo y triste. Pero lleno de pensamiento dialéctico. Tal vez la gente del Panóptico reflejaba mis pensamientos internos.
She looks around, surveying the cobwebbed corners where stacks of manuscripts have piled up to the ceiling and over empty ink bottles collecting dust.
Entonces realmente soy un personaje en la novela. La misteriosa cabaña con el techo azul fue mi hogar todo el tiempo. Entonces, los rumores que los fantasmas propagaron eran realmente eso. Rumores.
The young writer steps out of her home into the streets of the familiar yet foreign desert town. Countless nameless characters and ghosts arrive upon hearing the news, filling the roads and skies.
Bienvenida de nuevo a Amalfitano, querida escritora.
Gracias, querido ícono del capitalismo. Pero, ¿no desgarré esta novela en pedazos?
A woman wearing a peculiar hat steps forward.
Verás, Amalfitano es una dimensión más allá de la vida y la muerte. Este pueblo es un reflejo de tus pensamientos internos. Es incorpóreo. No puedes desgarrar algo incorpóreo en pedazos. La literatura es infinita y atemporal, como un río que fluye a través de la vida y la muerte.
Not again. Sorry.
No me extraña que seas mi personaje favorito. Nunca dejas de iluminarme.
Desafortunadamente, la literatura es una vocación peligrosa e inútil. Nadie entiende realmente, ni siquiera recuerda tu trabajo. ¿Recuerdas el dicho? Los únicos verdaderamente muertos son aquellos que han sido olvidados. Recoletta, desaparecerás para siempre si dejas a Amalfitano otra vez. Será como si nunca hubieras existido.
Siempre he admirado tu pensamiento crítico, señor. Encaja perfectamente con tu rol.
Rough hands grasp the rider's palm, feeling at the lines etched into her skin.
Todo estará bien, Recoletta. Lo que sea que haya pasado. Ahora has regresado. Eso es lo que importa. El dado de Babilonia rodará de nuevo. Y cada uno de nosotros obtendrá nuestros finales.
The crowd erupts in cheers.
Así es. Resuelve el asesinato en el bar y pon mi alma en paz.
Libera al pueblo de la locura infligida por el antiguo espíritu.
Arregla la aleatoriedad del dado de Babilonia y aplana la frecuencia catastrófica.
Why is this song from that one event before Chapter 8? Or was it after Chapter 8 came out? Oh, it's the cruise ship thing, right. The breeze, sea breeze. It's one of the songs that almost got me copyrighted. The young rider takes a step forward. Everyone, the living and the ghosts, watches expectantly.
Entonces, el final que he estado buscando es el que el otro yo no pudo darme. El yo que se lanzó de cabeza a la lucha contra un poder invencible. El yo que finalmente dejó esta tierra. Después de todo este tiempo, finalmente he encontrado mi final.
She grasps the gleaming die of Babylon.
Solo un lanzamiento más y todo habrá terminado. Mi historia, mi pueblo, todo finalmente llegará a su fin. Pero el sueño sobre el panóptico también terminará, ¿verdad?
She stops.
Oh, cariño, es solo un sueño.
Ah, no me digas que estás abandonando tu búsqueda de toda la vida por un miserable sueño.
Este sueño es cruel. Nadie entiende esta gran novela ahí ni este pueblo asombroso.
Pero aquí, eres una verdadera escritora.
Pero ya extraño a mis amigos en ese sueño. Existe, así como este lugar existe.
Pero nosotros también somos tus amigos, Recoletta.
Podrías desaparecer si dejas a Amalfitano. ¿Estás segura de que quieres irte?
The young rider puts down the die in her hand. The die that signifies the end of everything vanishes into the sandy wind.
¿Sabéis cómo soy, queridos amigos? He pasado mi vida emprendiendo aventuras tontas y no recompensadas. Así soy yo, ¿verdad? Amalfitano es, en efecto, un lugar ideal. Un lugar para vagar, para un viaje corto y para perderse un rato. Y tiene ustedes, mis amigos ficticios, a quienes quiero tanto. Pero debo regresar a mi sueño y ver a mis amigos ahí. Ellos son igual de importantes para mí.
As they hear her words, the ghosts of the town smile with relief.
Sí, tienes razón, Recoletta. No se puede negar que eres un alma noble y apasionada. Cada uno de nosotros lo sabe.
También eres nuestra querida amiga. ¿Por qué te detendremos de hacer lo que realmente deseas?
Everyone makes way for her as a path into a boundless void unfolds.
Te deseamos lo mejor, Recoletta. Buenas noches, querida. Que tu sueño sea dulce esta vez.
Gracias a todos, mis amigos. Nunca los olvidaré.
The girl wipes the tears from her eyes and steps into the looming darkness. All is silent as she enters the barren land. There is only the faint sound of footsteps echoing against a vast and empty darkness.
I've read your work, Señorita Recoletta. To be frank, it lacks both depth and breadth. This town of yours is still far from reflecting the complexity of society, and the narrative lacks a discerning perspective. It still needs some work if you want it to truly resonate with our audience. Just go for it, Señorita. You're at a perfect age to explore, experience, and learn.
Time wheels, and at last the girl feels her existence again, within the void. She reclaims her voice.
What's happening to me?
1,000 or perhaps countless faces emerge before her again.
Ah, of course. The rise and fall of sanity is my story. So, even though the novel's been destroyed, the story, and myself along with it, lives on in the minds of those who read it. Thank you for your feedback, editor. Even here in this great expanse of darkness, I can still hear your words. You have my gratitude. Thank you for reading my novel, even if you didn't understand it, and likely never will.
She navigates a labyrinth of words and an endless expanse of mirrored waters, the darkness surging toward her like a rush of waves on a dark night, making her presence feel heavier.
Honestly, I find your story totally fascinating, but I'm still struggling to understand the connections between all these nameless characters. Couldn't you make it clearer? Like a movie?
Typical. Trust a writer to try to be all obscure and mysterious.
Maria, Pancho, you guys are the best traveling pals I've ever had. Our paths may diverge in the future, but the joyful memories of our journey across grasslands, snowfields, and deserts together will remain forever. It's been great coming along with you. You're totally one of a kind. We'll be waiting for you at my aunt's vineyard. A little sun after a hard day's work will do you good.
The passionate companions wave to her, never looking back as they continue forward. The girl's steps are no longer weightless. With every step she takes, they feel heavier and more real. She lingers inside the infinite mask in the mirror, the boundless universe filling her with both confusion and illusion.
There is ambition in her writing. It's passionate and poetic, fractured and chaotic. But when viewed as a whole, her work feels like little more than a superficial illusion. It lacks the depth to truly touch the soul. I will refrain from offering further comments until she stops romanticizing her childish adventures.
To put it bluntly, her phraseology feels overly deliberate to the point of distortion. Her verbiage is like a collection of vague sentiment bubbles.
There she is.
I see, Aleph. Then this is how you really feel about my novel?
1,000 readers will interpret a story 1,000 different ways. Some believe the text itself is dead, and it is the reader who gives it life. The truth cannot be fully conveyed through words alone. That said, I think the rise and fall of sanity is a good story.
Her heart skips a beat. Within this paradise that harbors the boundless history and mysteries of humanity, she finally finds the mirror.
Oh, so the Eternal Paradise is a library of sorts.
Never mind.
Just like I always imagined.
You guys can pause the video if you want to read this.
Or is this just another reflection of my inner thoughts?
I can't read that fast.
I like it here. It's nice being surrounded by literature. But it's time to go back
back to reality.
Beautiful visuals, I have to say. Why are there so many telephones up hanging?
You're right about literature,
Sorry.
Dorside Beggar. It is a dangerous and futile calling, but I still believe in it.
The investigators from the Foundation breathe a sigh of relief together. Now, I was trying to figure out what... Okay, this... Hiccups. I was reading this. So, mirror that shows her reality as it truly is. I couldn't read that fast, but I hope you guys can pause that video if you want to read that together. Or not. Recoletta's reappearance is as sudden as her disappearance. Sonetta hasn't even had time to wipe the tears from the corners of her eyes. Aww.
Recoletta, you're back.
I'm so glad to see you're safe. And I'm so glad to see you two worried sick about me. Thanks, mis mejores amigas Soneto y Burton.
The reborn rider returns to the prisoner sitting dejected nearby.
See, Aleph? I still exist.
Amalfitano is gone. It's all over. You're simply a wandering ghost now. Never to return home again. You may still exist, but Amalfitano will never get its ending. You have nullified its existence, rendering all of this meaningless. I'm sorry I couldn't answer your question. I've failed once again.
His die falls to the ground. What he once used to construct a beautiful dream, now whatever magic it held has dissipated.
Amalfitano and the Panopticon were two parts of a whole. With Amalfitano gone, Komala no longer has any reason to exist.
And the prisoners can go outside and read and write and poet.
I'm sorry,
Maybe.
Aleph. You, who know all the mysteries of the world, who seek answers to every question, have lost yourself in the process. You can answer everyone else's questions, but never your own. Who's the person behind that mask? Is he real? Does he still exist?
Who am I?
The weighty ending to the story leaves the prisoner still trapped in a blurred illusion, exhausted. Kamala prison groans, like an aging water wheel struggling under its own weight, distorting, fading, and collapsing into the currents of its mind.
Stay vigilant, everyone. This is just like when the idealist and the physician had their meltdown, only this time, it seems even worse.
I think... Aleph is trying to tear down the Panopticon.
Beyond the crumbling walls, a shivering figure is faintly visible. He grips a gun tightly. The black barrel, shaking in his hands, is aimed at the people in the room.
Freeze! Stay where you are. All of you.
Garcia, no. I know the voice. Garcia, no. Down!
Take a deep breath, soldier. The smoke's cleared now. This story, this battle, will soon come to an end. A writer has departed from her domain, leaving her creation scattered behind her, like blood-soaked bandages and fragmented skulls in the trenches. What a garbled mess.
I don't understand it at all, or I think I understand. I don't know how to question it, but...
How wonderful for you. You know what? You should be the leader of the literature encryption communication team. Just arm yourself with a dictionary, and even enemies with 45 Maxim machine guns won't stand a chance against you. Because the poetry you recite will surely blow their minds before their bullets pierce yours.
I see you've developed a sense of humor.
Well, it's all thanks to a certain writer, the embodiment of the wandering poet and traveler from Santiago to Buenos Aires. She impressed me with her precious experience as a cafe dishwasher and campground caretaker. What really rekindled my sense of humor was her seriousness about her literary pursuits. You'd understand what I mean if you'd ever heard a cheesy joke at a comrade's graveside. Drawing strength from her wanderings and rebellious exploits, she attempted to change society, wielding the sword of literature as a revolutionary intellectual and a leader of thought.
For Recoletta, she does conjure a sword by reading from her novel. That is weird. Funny. Ironic.
Some would hail her as a battle angel of Latin America, with words as piercing as bullets and poems as powerful as tactical bombers.
I could say I doubt literature has such a profound impact, or I believe in the power of literature. I mean, there are some cases that literature can and probably does have an impact on things. I'm not too sure. But most of it doesn't have... People just doubt that it does have a profound impact. I don't know.
Many share your doubt, myself included. Here, come closer. Let me tell you a secret. Many, if not all people, foolishly think it's the executioner who drops the guillotine blade, the powder that fires the bullet. While they're half right, they're substantially inaccurate. Craters on the battlefield aren't the result of bombs, but a clashing of ideologies. A trigger pulled long before the powder ever ignited in the barrel. As for literature, well, it's probably best not to buy too much into the Latin American boom. Forget about the status report from earlier. That said, at least there's one thing that's certain. Books can bite back, and they'll leave scars.
That may be true. I could go back to the gallery and do the discussion again, because I can do that. See what kind of different ending I can get with the discussion, but it's just how I think. It's like you're literally discussing whatever a subject you're doing with the game here. But it's just what choices you just make. So, in praise of folly. Well, I think we're almost there at the ending here. Back at the prison here. And I think I knew who that is. Know who that is right there. I know from the whispering voice, it's gotta be Garcia. A prisoner steps out from behind the wall, a weapon held in his shaking hand.
I was just setting up my exhibit when everything started shaking. Then I realized it wasn't just my imagination. So I followed the cracks in the wall and found my way here. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but something's happening to the Panopticon, isn't it?
His panicked hands shift the gun toward Aleph, who has collapsed on his side.
Are you the physician? Or is it Aleph?
Or one and the same.
Whoever you are, please restore the Panopticon to the way it was. I'm begging you. You can do that, right?
Silence. The mind that once created infinity now watches as it folds back into nothing before him.
Why? Why aren't you doing anything, damn it? Why is this happening? Oh, the die. If you won't help me, then I'll do it myself.
Oh no. Yeah, the prisoner, in desperation, lunges forward.
Calm down, Garcia.
Well, Room of Desire, that's what we're in.
Come together to conquer this great weight.
No, Masaya.
Splash in the water.
Do I have to do this? Do you have a little faith in me, Master? Include Masaya. Perfectly understood. Nuestra aliado es la verdad.
That it?
Finally.
Finally, it's just you and me, Master.
Timekeeper, he's...
Garcia, weakened by his long confinement, is easily knocked to the ground, unable to withstand even the lightest touch of arcane skill.
Why? Why is this happening to me? I was so close. So close to completing the exhibition.
Can't you see, Garcia? There's no one controlling this place now. You're free.
Are you sure about that?
It isn't the dye that's trapped you, nor is it the walls of this prison. It's the rules, and that overpowering gaze from the central tower. But now that's all gone. You can go outside. You can set up your exhibit anywhere you want. No need to stay stuck in this.
Looking back on all that he has lost, the artist cuts her off.
No, Señorita Recoletta. You've seen the world out there. You know as well as I that there's nowhere else I can go but here. This is the only place in the world where I can hold my exhibit, and you've ruined it. You've ruined everything.
What a gloomy guy.
This room's about to collapse. We've got to leave. Mr. Garcia, do you need a hand?
I can take care of myself, thank you. I'll go a different way. I have to go back and finish setting up my exhibit.
You're crazy. He drags himself forward with trudging steps, retracing his path to leave.
Burton, what about Aleph? We can't just leave him here.
Of course not. We still have questions he needs to answer.
Yep.
Zinetto, help me get him up. Let's get out of here.
I was gonna say, we still need to find Dr. Doris.
Yes, Timekeeper.
The dejected prisoner looks at Sonetto with confusion.
Your words are always at odds with your thoughts. You carry an ocean of questions, yet never reveal even a single drop of them. Why have you never shared your doubts? Why do you stay silent in the face of everything and everyone around you?
I believe in my duty.
The prisoner shifts his gaze to the other Foundation investigator.
As for you, paracausality researcher, you're different from any other seeker of answers. Even on a desperate, near-hopeless journey, your heart holds little doubt.
Perhaps not every question needs an answer, Mr. Aleph.
Is that so?
The prisoner, so used to answering others' questions, seems to have run into one of his own, but unfortunately, no one is here to answer it. Right. Let me see if I can read this.
Look. It's sinking. Corpses float on the planks, and the fleeing prisoners are swimming toward the shore. Time to abandon ship.
What ship?
One that was exiled to a desolate corner of the ocean by the resplendent civilized world. It's both a prison and a sanitarium. Are any of your friends aboard? If so, you might find the following report a little offensive. Dregs of society. Human scum. These are the terms used to describe its eccentric passengers. To be fair, they do lack discipline and independence. But that may well be a response to the heavy pain they've endured. Some theorists suggest that they're innocent victims, trapped in the confines between rationality and irrationality, defined and redefined by historians as they please. But let's ditch the theories and simplify things. The moment the shackle called madness was fastened around their necks, whether they were truly mentally ill or not, their lives were forever scarred. And now, the mad passengers are storming the shore.
A favorable outcome? They're spreading their disease.
But one can gain immunity through controlled infection. The disease can become its own vaccine.
Oddly true.
Just be aware of the ignorant commander who defies a wandering lunatic in pursuit of a little knowledge. Let's dig deeper. Scavenge through the messy battlefield for dog tags. Were these people born mad? After watching the inhabitants of this earth tear each other apart in one war after another, I've concluded this. Only knowledge drives people to madness. Ignorance does not. Madness is a side effect of the sedative that is knowledge. As long as those on land continue to consume it, this ship will never be short on recruits. This is a war between madness and civilization. Both sides have leveled accusations, spilled blood, and pummeled each other. And soon, everyone will have leapt into the trenches and been beaten to a bloody pulp. Only a few can escape this fate.
Like who?
Pick your six. The one leaning against the sunken ship, showing no signs of struggle or sorrow. Garcia.
I just realized something. It's raining outside. Yeah, it's raining outside. Didn't know.
The seawater has flooded his windpipe and reddened his eyes. Yet there he is, staring blankly at the shore. He's in his home base. He holds no hope for forgiveness from his enemies. Not in the slightest. He's a one-man army, fighting only for himself. Alone. Now, do a 360 and look again. He's been utterly defeated.
Alright, a ship of fools. Alright, I feel like we're getting really close to the end here, so I might keep going. And then, if I get to the end of the story here, I might add more and look at the other extra things we can look at here, and then we can end it there. So, to aspects of madness. And look at this. It went from, like, a stable, uncracked, pristine prison to now look at the walls are being cracked here and there. Yeah. Yeah.
Dear Erd.
Oh. Sorry. I nearly interrupted myself here. I was like, oh, this is a whole new meaning of prison break. Breaking prison, apparently.
Why are you so interested in the Panopticon of Kamala? Dear Mr. Aleph, whether as a doctor or a writer, I simply cannot turn a blind eye to the friction around me.
Especially the discord and injustice I have witnessed here in Kamala. So, I would ask of you a question. Is there any way to resolve the endless conflicts in this place?
To put an end to this, a true ending is required.
Yeah, true ending is like literally the true ending of any game. I like games that has multiple endings. Bad, good, secret, or the truth.
Your arrival has made it possible for this simulation to have an ending, or rather, a victory.
What do you mean by victory? I'd appreciate it if you could clarify in simple terms. If this victory comes at the cost of any inmate's life, I'm afraid I cannot accept it.
Yeah, we all try so hard to find the all-survived ending, you know? Like Until Dawn, or the game I played a couple of years ago called Killer Frequency. I hope you check that out, by the way. I actually streamed that, and I only had about a few people watched it. I hope you guys enjoyed that one, too.
I also have another question for you. If I leave, will the stories and conflicts here come to an end?
Probably not, by the way we've went through the entire story.
Miss Grace of Manus Vindicte will grant you passage. But in any case, the cycle of history will continue to repeat itself in this prison, and in the entire world. The sins of humankind will not cease until veins turn to wires, flesh and bone to geometric shapes, and the world around us twists in the colors of an oil painting.
I guess he must have noticed the previous storms, what they did to the people, affecting the people. Oof.
I must say, your words have left me rather baffled. Fragments of the events you describe often appear in my dreams. Could it be that these things really happened? If that's the case, why can't I recall the details? Why am I left with only disconnected pieces? The madness in Kamala. These bizarre dreams. I must put an end to them. What have I forgotten? Has someone or something altered my memory? I can't shake the feeling that something crucial to me has been lost in the river of time. Some kind of duty, perhaps. What should I do? How can I recapture what I have lost?
I won't answer a question that already has an answer. One given to you by the person who escorted you here and made you a promise. You're so close to the place where the truth lies. Think carefully. Why are you here?
These letters we found have answered a great deal. But there's still something that isn't clear.
Finally, we're outside the prison. Fresh air. Finally. No more scent of chlorine in this pool-like prison. Yeah, so I think Erd, or Doris, has just noticed why she has some sort of missing links inside her previous selves in the storm. Because we know that Erd, that's her pretty much a pen name for herself in the Utu magazine. And somehow she traverses through the storm unscathed, apparently. But at the cost of some memories, I think. Maybe. Which forces her to create multiple identities. I don't know. Maybe.
Mr. Aleph, what exactly did the Manus promise Dr. Doris?
An era. A chance for her to remember her duty.
An era?
They want to make their own era?
You helped her leave the Panopticon in the end. Where did she go?
Momentarily roused from his dream, the prisoner looks blankly for a moment before his gaze drifts back toward the distant illusion.
Southward. There, on the No Man's continent, Manus Vindicte is preparing to recreate the parable of the past and future. A glorious past and a glimmering future belonging to Arcanus. Dr. Doris is deeply connected to this particular parable.
Really?
What exactly are the Manus planning to do in Antarctica?
Wait. Okay. I know for the fact that Erd, or Doris, might be important, but what they described her is that she might be an anchor, because her body traversed through the storm unscathed, unaffected, but her memories are affected. Maybe. Which forces... I don't know what's going on, though. Who is Erd? Who is Doris? That's been my question. What is she to the Timekeeper? What is she to the Manus?
And why would Dr. Doris go there voluntarily?
Yep, that's what I was asking. The information revealed stirs unease in the hearts of the investigators from the Foundation.
Mr. Aleph, when did Dr. Doris depart?
It was a day when both the clouds and sun were visible.
A day when both the clouds and sun were visible? Could you be more specific?
Specific? You mean the time of day?
His mind long ago lost any sense of time, a necessary exchange to make room for an infinite cosmos of words. He once again finds himself without an answer.
When both clouds and the sun were visible. Hey, Vertin, I think I know.
Of course you know.
It was 3 days ago. Then Dr. Doris wasn't going to Comala on the day I met her. She was leaving. She was headed to Antarctica.
What? Oh, okay.
It was cloudy that afternoon, with a brief spell of sunshine, just like Aleph described.
Then it hasn't been long since she left. Excellent news.
And yet they missed a chance.
3 days. If we set off immediately, we might still catch up to her. But based on the intel we gathered in Ushuaia, Manus Vindicte bombed the entire port 3 days ago.
Really?
Clearly, they wanted to prevent any interference from the Foundation. It's unlikely we'll find any functioning ships there. I'll report the situation to the Buenos Aires branch. Timekeeper, I'm afraid we'll have to find another way to get there.
I have a boat.
When? And how? A small boat gifted by Manus Vindicte, of course. Of course. During the past several storms, he has taken this boat, traveling to Antarctica at Manus Vindicte's invitation to evade the reversion.
Could you lend it to us? The situation's urgent, Mr. Aleph.
But why is he cooperative now? Beneath a decrepit... I'm losing my words today. Beneath a decrepit lighthouse. Why is it decrypted, not decrepit? A battered little boat bobs and sinks with the waves. It is small and fragile, not the kind that seems capable of braving an icy sea.
This boat will automatically take you to McMurdo Port, the landing point Manus Vindicte established by the shores of the Ross Sea.
Sonetto eyes the boat with skepticism, rightfully distrusting this advisor of Manus Vindicte. Of course.
This looks like Manus technology. Its arcane energy source is highly unstable. Timekeeper, I suggest we wait for support in Ushuaia.
I don't usually agree with Sonetto, but I have to admit, I don't have much confidence that a boat this small can actually make it to Antarctica.
I mean, as more weird can get, I think this boat might be the only way.
Mr. Aleph, do you know anything about Manus Vindicte's ritual? How far has it progressed?
The ritual could begin at any moment. I believe that's why they left Kamala. Upon departure, one of their members, a woman named Grace, told me they would seal off the sea.
Seal off the sea? What?
Are we too late?
If you wish to find Doris, you must follow the same path she took.
The distant drone of the raging waves fills their background like a repeating omen.
I see. Mr. Aleph, members of the Foundation branch will arrive soon to evaluate your condition. I hope you'll answer their questions with the same patience you showed us. Thank you. Sonetto, let's go.
Yes, Timekeeper.
As always, Sonetto keeps any mission-irrelevant queries to herself. The girls preparing to set sail turn to the young rider beside them.
Thank you for your assistance too, Recoletta. Perhaps you'll consider joining the...
A thunderous crash echoes from behind them, the sound of a collapsing building.
What was that? It came from the Panopticon.
I'm guessing the final boss? Okay. Ooh. The blazing flames reflect in their eyes, just like the name of this island might suggest. Look at this! I guess the prisoner riot just got begun. A winter night stands sentinel over a great conflagration, as every brick of Kamala prison crumbles and falls. I hope everybody's okay.
With Aleph's control gone, Kamala is collapsing. The inmates aren't even real criminals, are they?
Nope.
And they're still in there with no clue that they're no longer being watched from the central tower.
That sucks.
We have to go tell them. We have to get them to safety.
But do they want to do they want to though?
Yes, we should help them get out. At least until support arrives. But the Manus ritual...
Yeah, caught between a hard rock and a hard place. The battered boat sways within their sight.
Don't worry. I'll go alone.
Huh?
You should hurry. When this is all over, I'll write to you, my dear friend. During this journey together, our teamwork has been impeccable. So, you can trust me to do this. I'm not doing it just to help you or the organization you represent. I'm doing it because the inmates are my friends.
Okay, I trust you. Take care of yourself, Recoletta.
But if the storm truly is imminent, as Dr. Merlin said, then, Miss Recoletta, you...
Don't be sad. Sonetta, more familiar than anyone with the Foundation's exhaustive regulations, has no ready answer. She knows that, in this era, before those arcanists who remain ignorant of the truth, she must watch her words.
I don't quite understand what this storm is all about. But don't worry. A brand new adventure is the best thing that can happen to a writer. And I doubt it'll surpass the epic adventures we've shared over the past couple of days. I'm going to write everything, including the two of you, into my new novel.
Then I'd like to be the first to read this new novel, if that's alright.
Of course. Listen, I believe literature is like an endless, timeless river. So we'll meet again someday, somewhere. Probably in someone else's story. Who knows?
She takes one last look at her new friends, feeling a longing as if they had known each other for decades. Then, without a backward glance, the girl sprints back to the burning ruins of the prison.
Adios, mis queridos amigos.
I was a little late for that. Ooh, cutscene. I love the aurora. Oh my god, the music, the song. I like this. Jeez. How many people are in there, though? I hope Octavia's okay. I relate. I hope this ain't copyrighted, to be honest, I hope. I mean, if it's made by the devs. It should be okay if it's made by the devs. What are they doing? Wait, did he seriously set that on fire? Or... Oh my god, they're just dancing. They are dancing. Why does this give me chills? You're serious. The Burning Man. Burning their work. Burning their own work. Poems. Books. That's unsettling. And them being just ignorant here. In a bliss. Just makes it worse. I think it might be too late for them. It is too late for them. Oof. All the visitors depart one after another. Amid the distant echo of singing, the creator of this prison stares into the fire as it burns. The moment holds for a time, until a breathless jaguar appears at the dock's edge, staring at the human before her with uncertainty.
Dr. Merlin, you're Dr. Merlin, right? I finally found you.
No, it's Aleph.
What on earth happened in the central tower? Right after I left, the whole Panopticon started collapsing. The tower's in ruin. I've been looking for you everywhere. Please, sir, come with me. It isn't safe.
That won't be necessary. The snow is still falling. Yet everything in the labyrinth has already gone up in flames. Fortune, fate, karma. They're nothing but a ridiculous joke. It's over, Jaguar. You have lost your memories, your identity, your name, and now your title. You are no longer a jailer trapped in the Panopticon.
I don't get it, Dr. Merlin. What are you talking about?
Ooh. The jailer takes a step back, her predator instincts sensing the danger in the words to come. The damage may not be physical, but it threatens to shatter what little faith she has left to hold on to, and the life she has always known.
I'm going back to Kamala. Order must be maintained. The prisoners mustn't be allowed to escape. Please take care, Dr. Merlin.
Yeah, denial. Nerves torn between panic and hesitation, the jailer has at last turns toward the searing flames.
Hey, you! Don't run off like that. It's dangerous.
No one heeds her cries. One prisoner after another flees in terror, escaping the crumbling labyrinth.
Deserts! It's stars!
We dream on that straw pillow.
The jailer drifts through the raging sea, unable to steer a sensible course. At last, she pins down a frail and powerless prisoner beneath her weight.
Stop! Get off me! Let me go! Are you blind? The Panopticon is falling apart!
It's you, Roberta.
The jailer recognizes the prisoner under her grip. Roberta, a kind and quiet prisoner, always well behaved, now panicked and desperate to escape.
They are all bad! I knew it! They've been insane from the start! The whole place is burning to the ground and they still won't leave! They're still talking and talking about things that no one cares about! I can't help them! I never understood what they were talking about. The rhythms, the factions, the ideologies. Yes, the people were nice. The idealists too, but I've had enough of this prison. I've had enough of the Panopticon.
Oh, damn it. I'm about to cry too. She is really doing well, whoever her VA is. She collapses onto the ground, sobbing.
I never should have joined these movements. It was all meaningless from the beginning. I want to leave this place. Go to Spain or France. Anywhere but here. I want to go back to Magdalena.
Shit. The Jaguar releases her grip without a backward glance. Roberta leaves. Oh boy. The jailer steps back into the circular structure she knows as her only home. Hang on. A good thumbnail, to be honest. What? This game is fucking weird, I can tell you that for sure. But I love it. Nonetheless. Talk about going down in the ship. Under the night sky, she sees Kamala Prison glowing like a brilliant bonfire. Yeah. Insanity. It's still going. You kidding me? 3 days ago. Okay.
But how does literature make you feel?
As though I'm a kid looking through a kaleidoscope for the first time. Well, maybe that's not the best way to put it. Perhaps something a little more subtle.
The young writer drowns in the vortex of words as the blind woman walks away. Sorry, someone was talking me through my door. I had to answer her. She walks silently toward Kamala Prison, arriving at the dock hidden between the cliffs and reefs. There, the prisoner who answers all questions awaits her arrival.
A ship, sailing to an unfamiliar land, a parable of the past and future, an era that once existed and is yet to come. Is this the answer you've provided, Mr. Aleph?
Wait, is this right now, or is it the day before she left?
No, Erd. You will have to find this answer yourself. No one can help you with this. No one.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Aleph. I will remember what you've told me.
Sorry. It's just stress for me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Screen pans? So, the Platonic year. Why she has a different outfit? I just whirls out a new right and wrong. Whirls in the old instead. All men are dancers and their tread. Goes to the barbarous clangor of a gong. Esto es there. W.B. Yeats, 1919. Well, that's pretty much the end of that. So we may have reached the full story of Chapter 9. We have finally reached the actual ending here. But before I actually end the video here, there are some things that are missing as well. I noticed that in my last video, that there are some other extra things that I missed out when proceeding with the story here. So we're going to go through all of them and hopefully get to the last one, which is a secret meeting at the end of it. So let's go ahead and look for the typewriter record P12. I may or may not read the entire thing, but yeah. So when they speak of Manus Vindictae, their tone is always light, often laced with jokes, colorful descriptions like a greasy-headed musician smearing tiles like a drunk Edward Goya, frequently crop up in their poetry. Even though I have never seen such a scene myself, I can still grasp their attitude toward Manus Vindictae. It was an oppression surpassing even their past sufferings, yet subconsciously they ignored this similarity. Perhaps out of denial, or perhaps because this prison has already taught them to obey, also subconsciously. But as far as I know, Manus Vindictae did bring their terror here. Those masks drove Arcanus to insanity and caused unbearable suffering, as if they were caught in an inescapable snare. After prolonged torment, they lost the ability to utter even a single phrase of their own language, reduced to slaves of this underground faction, left with only a singular thought, their souls having left the empty tusk. Man, I'm getting mixed up words here. So, husk of their former selves. And as for humans, drink. There we go. It seems they were driven to death en masse. At night, they were not allowed prolonged sleep, woken by their companions every hour to sit beneath the watchtower and chant prayers. And by dawn, high-intensity training and interrogations did not require or expect any answers to what begin again. The purpose of Manus Vindictae is buried beneath these cruel methods, as clear as the deepest crevice in the ice field. It is nothing but destruction. They seek to completely destroy humanity. Alright, that done. Here we got 2 of these things about xenodefectors and prison reform notes. Alright, so based on the above information on recent intelligence from the Timekeeper squad, it is confirmed that xenodefector unit had entered Kamala prison, which held numerous Arcanists and withdrew from Ushuaia on March 2nd. The operation clearly involved cooperation with Manus Vindictae. The current whereabouts of the defectors remains unclear, pending further intelligence from the Timekeeper squad. So I'm not going to read all that. Then there's this. Prison reform notes. During the Third Kamala Congress, the redacted daily dose of diazepam was reduced to 2 3/4 tablets to none, replaced with 2 classified poetry collections and 60 chlorpromazine tablets, to be taken 1.5 per day. 2 days, 11 hours, 8 minutes, and 4 seconds later, 8mm crack appeared on a bar of his cell, which is on the 2nd floor, near the 3rd staircase, and is the 8th cell from the left. He scraped off a 4x3mm fragment of his 32nd tile. He mentions the other me increased from the 3 times in 48 hours to 25 times in 48 hours. Okay. Alright, then skipping to here. A clipping. Yeah. So there's a clipping. So In 1935, Professor Antonio from Portugal became intrigued by a medical study documenting how gorillas became docile after the removal of their frontal lobes. Yeah, lobotomy. Inspired by this, he successfully performed the world's first human frontal lobotomy, known as leucotomy. If that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. The surgery was remarkably successful, paving the way for significant breakthroughs in research. In 1949, Professor Antonio was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine for his work. Torture. Through continuous practice and refinement, he and others eventually improved and perfected the procedure, even developing a specified leucotome, if that's how I pronounce it. However, the surgical technique required a high level of expertise, and as a result, it was never widely adopted. In 1945, American doctor Walter Freeman modified the procedure, which became infamously known as the ice pick lobotomy. The technique involved rendering patients unconscious with electroshock anesthesia, and then hammering a steel pick, roughly the thickness of a chopstick, through the upper part of the eye socket into the brain. Jesus Christ. The pick was then manually rotated to destroy the frontal lobe. In 1950, following strong recommendations from psychiatric pathologist Vasily Gayanovsky. Let me see if I can pronounce it again. Gayanovsky. The Soviet government became the first to announce a complete ban on frontal lobotomies, thank God. Over the next 2 decades, most countries, including the United States, followed suit and passed laws prohibiting the procedure. Yeah, because that's pretty much inhumane as is. Alright, and I guess we can speak to our soldier friend again. Does the Foundation ever actually require employees to clock in? Have you ever heard of Foucault, Sonetto? Yes, he's a renowned French philosopher and social theorist. I read books about his theories in the SPDM. So those are precisely the kind of books they'd never confiscate. Sorry, I don't understand. Never mind that. Could you explain what you read in detail? Alright. Foucault argued that madness isn't a natural phenomenon, rather a cultural construct. In early times, punishment was a public spectacle, a display of power for the rulers. Nowadays, things are different. After the Enlightenment, punishment became a form of public education, intended primarily to deter crime. That's true. The phrase public execution has all but disappeared from everyday language. Discipline and punishment. By that logic, the SPDN aligns closely with Foucault's ideals. But Deleuze believed that another model of power had replaced disciplinary power, the power of administration, a highly efficient yet indifferent system of management. The system holds control over the environment, and under such circumstances, the individual's inner self ceases to matter. Timekeeper, is this discussion because of what the physician said? That's right. Initially, I just wanted to hear your perspective on this. Now I'm starting to see how this model reduces the people to little more than animals. Right, Timekeeper. Yeah, end of log. Alright, and moving on to the part 14 here with, let's check the right one, a tattered invitation. Dear Mr. Aleph, the National Foucault Studies Association extends a formal invitation for you to join our organization. Our mission is to guide society and the world toward a more structured and enlightened future. We believe your exceptional abilities will be instrumental in achieving this vision. We eagerly await your response. Sincerely, Jose Tartuffe, Comala Prison, Ushuaia. So this is the letter he got that puts him as the overseer of this place, I guess. So, draft of a strange incantation. Regarding the Blurred by Waterstains ritual, a large number of arcanas, this should be an easily achievable goal by Manus Vindictae. For Manus Vindictae. Young people capable of lifting bricks and setting sail are plentiful. Devotion remains the best catalyst. Roar Lion's Tail, Sacred Scarab Wings, Ducatayal Shell, that's what they did in that one event. When combined with the Fountain of Immortality, it seems like the Manus Vindictae aims to achieve something extraordinary. Given the shell's properties, it can withstand the immense amount of energy, ensuring the ritual's success. This is indeed an incantation requiring considerable, meticulous preparation. The location, also blurred by water stains, remains an excellent choice. But for the ritual itself, timing is of paramount importance. The time, quote unquote, referred to here is not our traditional understanding, but time, quote unquote, itself. So these things just gives you clue on the next chapter, I truly believe. Maybe the next chapter. So an unsent letter, probably from. Oh wait, hang on. I just got interrupted in my own thoughts. Probably one of the replies from the publishers. Dear Miss Recoletta, I have completed reading the 6th edition of The Rise and Fall of Sanity, which you enclosed with your letter dated February 1991. Below are some of my personal insights and suggestions for the story's direction. I believe we are nearing the conclusion, and I sincerely hope you never lose your passion of writing. Additionally, regarding the character of the Blind Weaver, the letter remains unfinished, as it appears the correspondent encountered an unforeseen interruption. Maybe the storm, probably. Who knows, right? Alright, again, same place here. Book Fair Trade. Fair Guide. B Section Works Guide. The Bluebird Watson Cruz Children's Literature Editor's Review. A children's book, but not for just for children. Viewing the world from a different perspective reveals an entirely new reality. Fox Beneath the Sky. Tadeo. Social Literature Editor's Review. A classic intellectual autobiography offering profound reflections on the nature of time. The third, 3. Blood Monster Averos? If that's how you pronounce it. Horror fiction. Undoubtedly the finest novel about vampiric creatures this century. A 300-year tale of immortality, jealousy, and humanity. And a bunch of authors and numbers. Let's see. Then we are near the end here. So, we got a journey to and fro. I return once more to Kamala Prison. To me, this massive cage is no longer an inescapable labyrinth. When I left, the lady from Manus Vindicte did not stop me, yet I could still feel her gaze. So sorrowful, so blurred, so cold. Never once shifting away from me. On the streets of Ushuaia, a young girl pointed me back toward the prison. That severed thread tugged at my heart, and I knew with certainty that my mission lay here. If I were placed before fate, my life and death would seemingly follow a predetermined path to its destined end. And as I walk this path, I must carry not even a shred of hesitation. It is time to speak with Aleph, the one who answers all questions, even though we may have lost them all. And with the final little piece of the puzzle here, a discussion. A secret meeting in 1991. The information moved at lightning speed thanks to technological advancement. Santos! Hey, it's great to meet you again. Why are you here? That's Sino Soldier. The Admiral sent me to deliver the latest updates. Ha! I think Igor has misunderstood something. Just because we're both here doesn't mean the Apostles' Brotherhood and Sino are obliged to work together. Mr. Santos, you know the preacher said it before, and each and every one of us is their subject. Why don't you just tell me what Igor really sent you here for? Sino's intelligence officers intercepted a message from the Foundation's Buenos Aires branch. How typical is Sino to do something like that? The message states that a fleet from the Foundation, including a battleship and a destroyer, has departed from the north and is heading south. So you're telling me those gray and white checkers are actually sending a fleet? The General wants you to speed up the transport of personnel and supplies, and to weaken the manpower of the Foundation's Buenos Aires branch as much as possible. Let me make this perfectly clear. I do not answer to him. But for the preacher, and for them, I will fulfill my duty. Tell your Admiral that he doesn't need to worry about anything else. We'll prepare a proper welcome for the Foundation's feeble little fleet. Understood? Sounds like to me something's gonna happen in Chapter 10, I believe. So, Santos got away. And, yeah, we might be expecting an ambush when we head to Antarctica on that little boat as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It has been a short and confusing chapter for myself. It basically, can someone create a place using a die? maybe the die of Babylon was an artifact stolen from the Foundation. Maybe. Like, that's what my theory would say. And I believe that, I guess, Aleph was using the die to create a space that the storm doesn't affect. But, I guess, experimentations by using a novel, using, from Recoletta's novel. You could say whatever changes made here to try to find an ending so time could not get inside this building. And of course, like always, there is never a good ending for the game, because sure, we got one good thing out of it, but all in all, everything just goes downhill. I'm assuming some prisoners escaped, but more prisoners that are wanting to be in this fantasy, this fiction, they would just burn along with their books and poems. I've just felt sad for Roberta as well. She lost her friend, and she thought it was insane enough to join these literary movements. Probably in this era that writers and poets were insane, even if they were arcane criminals. Maybe they were not criminals in the first place, but subjects. Who knows? I would like to piece things together myself, but I think these are the only survivors. I guess the Jaguar as well. What will happen to the Jaguar? What will happen to anybody in Kamala prison? To be honest, I felt sad for Octavia just joining in the madness inside that flaming building to dance and sing and la-di-da-di-da. Yeah. So, with that, we finally caught up with the story, the main chapter as well. The only thing I gotta do left in this few weeks and days and months, actually a month, is doing the story of Aleph as well. Should I pull from him? He might be useful. So I have no idea. So I might test out his survey as well. So again, guys, that's all I have for today. So thank you all for watching this video, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like in the video. If you enjoyed the story, my narrations, like the video. If you still want to continue on with the series of Reverse 1999, like the video. And if you guys wish to support my channel, please click the subscribe button if you enjoy my, well, everything I do. The casual chill vibes, to the narrations, me narrating, the videos I bring, I make, if you really enjoyed them. And if you have anything to say about the video and the story itself, anything you want to say about it, let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your opinions. Also, just to answer one of the comments, yes, I went through Digger's anecdote, and yes, a little context. I wish they had more context in itself, but I will admit the design, his costume design in that anecdote was excellent. But I guess he went back to his hippie self. Or not hippie self. I don't know if he is a hippie or not, but yeah, I don't know. I get confused myself sometimes, and I apologize for that. Yeah, I cannot wait until Chapter 10 comes out, or a new event as well. We've already gotten some idea who might come out, and Chapter 10. I know that there are 2 new chapters already out, or at least already being made as well, but it ain't gonna be released here yet. So until Chapter 10 comes out, I will be doing this, Aleph's story. So we'll get behind the meaning of that man soon enough. So as always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the new video. So peace out, and I will see you in the new video. So peace out. Have an awesome summer. Bye.